Good evening and welcome to our MDC brand night for today, Monday, June 6th. My name is David Scoltetti. It's fabulous to be with y'all. And like for those of you who are brand new, and I'm seeing new names each and every week. For those of you who are brand new, we do this brand night each and every Monday night. And the purpose of it is to educate you and inspire you on one of the core amazing brands of My Daily Choice. There's a lot of great things we're going to share. We also have some business updates, among other things, at the tail end of it. But tonight is going to be focused on what many of us feel is one of the best brands within the universe of My Daily Choice. And to kick things off, I'm going to bring on Jordan Monroe. JoJo has been, honestly, since her adult life, a lifelong entrepreneur. She's a mama of 2 young kids. Lives in the Pacific Northwest. Actually, she's now in California, Northern California, I guess it is, and is $1 million earner in our space. So she's going to really kind of conduct the discussion tonight. For those of you who have questions, please place those questions in the chat. We'll be able to pick those up along the way and weave them into our dialogue. But JoJo, I'm going to give it to you and allow you to introduce our guest for this evening.
Awesome. Awesome. And for those of you that are new and our veterans, thank you so much for being here. Every Monday night, we do these brand partner highlights, like Piper said. Our goal is to educate people so they swap where they shop, they fall in love with their favorites, and we get handsomely rewarded in over 10 multi-billion and trillion-dollar categories. Think about it this way. The one category that we're talking about tonight is in the health and wellness space. This is a $1 trillion category, and I would put this brand, these products, up against any other brand or product that's sold on a shelf at another company, you name it, toe to toe. These are taking you out of the ring. Like, this is hands down the best health and wellness products you're going to come across. And again, it's because of the people who created it. So Sean, I am so excited. The Sean Loomer of Sean and Ty is here. Sean, I'm going to ask you to unmute, my friend.
There it is.
There he is. You and I and all of us have had so much fun since October, really. We had our first exposure to what is the movement of Sean and Ty and the energy behind you and your beautiful wife. And since then, it has quickly become, again, our team's favorite brand. But by way of introduction, you guys have worked with peak elite athletes in doctors' offices. You have worked in the top of your industry and industries beyond. But give people a little bit of a background that brought you to the space now of being a leader in MDC.
Sure. Get a little water real quick, and my little helper, my granddaughter's here. Look, we're grateful. We're grateful for MDC. We're grateful for you inviting us on. Ty's not here. Tylene's my amazing, not only beautiful wife, but really a passionate person about helping people take their health more into their own hands. And that's really kind of how we all got started, at least, her and I together 24, 25 years ago, when she introduced me to some things and I already thought I knew a lot, right? I had lost my mom to colon cancer, and I was doing some research and juicing and doing these things. And that was in 1993, a long time ago. I'm showing my age a little bit, but I started just wanting to know more and how do I become more preventative? And when Tylene started teaching me 20 some years ago about plant enzymes, stabilized probiotics, I was really I didn't really understand immediately, but 4 or 5 days later, I did. And that's because she had already, it's about how long it took for some things in my body to go back to where they needed to be. And that was really the kickoff of our journey together. A few years after that, she asked me if I would help, her get this message out there. And when she met me, I was speaking and doing some entrepreneur stuff. And, the first night I met her, she told me she wanted to save the world. Thought that was a little corny at the time. Obviously, I get it now, but it was just one day at a time. And so, yes, we've worked with, I don't know, probably a couple thousand doctors at this point. And, a lot of athletes, professional sports teams, NBA teams, NHL teams, and things like that, NFL, Major League Baseball player, all that stuff, NCAA, X Games, Olympic athletes. And that was never our intention. Our intention was just, how do we help the everyday person like Tylene and I understand that they're capable of doing a lot more for themselves? No problems with doctors. This isn't against the doctors out there. It's like, how do we collaborate? How do we educate? How do we work with those doctors? And today, let me tell you, it's a lot different than when we started, right? Because we were teaching gut health 20 some years ago. We were kind of laughed at because it really wasn't a thing. And so it's really come a long, long way. And it's, MDC gives us a platform, because that's really is our whole intention, is how do we help make people more aware of what they can do on their own.
So cool. And it's so true. And a lot of people that are on tonight subscribe to what you guys are talking about, is if you put your body in an environment to do what it's designed to do, it will heal itself. Problem is, we've all been out of the right environment. And this is now giving us access to it. So what I'd love to do is kind of go over a few of the key products, starting with my favorite. And oh, by the way, I'm not the only one. If you guys look in the chat, before we even started, everybody was saying, BLD is my favorite. BLD is amazing. Like, it's already going off. Ginger already has a picture of it. So let's kick right off into this masterful enzyme product that really caters to the gut, the second brain of our bodies.
Yeah, no, I agree. And BLD is, really kind of that little marketing breakfast, lunch, dinner kind of thing to remind people that this product is to be taken when we eat our heated or cooked food. And that's because most of us are not raw foodists. We may eat some raw food, but we're cooking our food from time to time, or obviously the majority of the time. And enzymes are the life force of food. And when you heat enzymes about 114 degrees or so, you kill them. And so now the food becomes dead. And what does that mean? Tylene, we tease dead and delicious, right? We like to have good, tasty food. And by the way, we're not perfect. So we don't eat perfect. Never judge us. If you see us if I'm with you, I might have a slice of pizza or whatever it is. I like to say I pick my poisons, and Tylene's a dessert girl when she can have it. And she says, this is why I make all this stuff, so I can eat more of the things I love. And so it's not about being perfect. And I think that's where people go wrong. They try to go extreme. We just try to meet people where they're at, right? And so really simply put, when you eat something fresh and living, like an apple, you bite that apple, the air hits it, it starts to get brown. Hopefully you have a real apple, it'll do that, because it's kind of the enzyme activity, right? If you buy a banana, you leave it on the counter too long, it starts to get soft, it darkens. And if you leave it there long enough, it'll start ooze out of the sides. Those are the enzymes. That's the enzyme activity, right? And so when you eat those types of things, it's all good. You're giving to your body. You're giving nutrients to your body. Your body knows exactly what to do with those nutrients. No issues. When you heat it, you kill it. So you take that banana or that apple and make banana cream pie, which is tasty, right? Or an apple pie. Now it's dead. So every single time, believe it or not, we eat heated or cooked food, we're actually taxing the human body. And what I mean by that is we have a pancreas with these digestive enzymes for our food. And the big mystery, and people say, Sean, well, my parents didn't take enzymes, or my great grandparents or grandparents. Well, that's because obviously things were different. Foods were different. We didn't eat as much dead food. We didn't eat, fast food as much. We didn't have microwave food. We didn't have, when everything after World War II, the food changed. So the bottom line is this: when your pancreas has to secrete these enzymes, basically, it's like a little bank account. It'd be like if I gave you an ATM card, Jordan, and said, look, this debit card has to last you your entire life, but I'm not going to tell you how much money's in the account. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about prevention, right? It's really about, when it comes to your enzyme little bank account, you're trying to hold on to some of those. You don't want to just use them all up. And when we're born, all of us on this, this call tonight, we all have a different amount of these enzymes when we're born, whether they're enzymes for proteins, carbs, fats, sugars. It doesn't matter. Enzymes are substrate specific. And so what happens is we start to deplete those, right? And then that's when the issues start to occur. It's not like instant overnight, it's over time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, snacks every day, every week,
Damn it.
every year, right? It's going to keep going in that direction. So what we do to offset that is we take this little full spectrum plant enzyme with stabilized probiotics, right? Enzymes are not probiotics. Probiotics, right, are that good, friendly gut bacteria, which we all need. There's a little maintenance supply in these enzymes, but this is more of an enzyme product. So this will break down a Thanksgiving meal, right? Because when we eat, we should get nutrients. We should get energy from our food, depending on what we eat. And then we should pass, right? I mentioned my mom passed of colon cancer at 63. It's because she couldn't poop, right? I mean, that was the bottom line. And so our bodies want certain nutrients at a given time, and they don't want other things. And we want to eliminate those. Okay, so that's really what this is all about, is to get all the nutrient value out of what we eat and not causing any issues when we do eat. And it's a simple concept. And that's why we do that little pudding demonstration, right? Where we open that little snack pack pudding or whatever, drop an enzyme in there, stir it up, and it liquefies it, right? It changes the molecular structure of that food is what it's doing. And so, what are the side effects? Well, most people get more energy from their food, which is super cool. Most people, when I say most, look at percentages, may eliminate more often. Not everyone. Some people will take this and they'll hold on. Their body will hold on to those nutrients because it finally got to absorb some nutrients it's been trying to, right? Some of us are, our stomachs tend to flatten out. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't feel so heavy and bloated after you eat maybe a big, delicious meal. And that's super fun, right? To be able to eat and not feel all, why did I do that? We all kind of have those favorite foods, and that happens to us. So the way you take it is there's 90 capsules in there. The theory is, 1 capsule for 3 meals a day. You cannot take too many of these enzymes. I take a minimum of 2 every time I eat a meal. I may take 1 if it's a little something small snack or something like that. And if I have a huge meal or something really heavy, I'll take a few. I'll take 3 or 4 just because, I know I don't eat without this. It's been 20 some years since I've eaten cooked food without it. And that's, if I can only I take a lot of stuff, don't get me wrong, but if I can only take 1, I think I've mentioned this before, it would be BLD, because that is where everything starts. Everything goes back to the gut, and so you have to make sure your body handles what you're consuming. And there's little tricks to all of this, right? Our enzymes release, like when we start, let's say we start chewing our food, that's when the digestion, that's really when everything starts. And digestion's first in the body when you eat. It takes precedence over everything. That's why I like to talk about this product first, because it's number one. And, here's something that sounds a little silly. Even like chewing gum, you're kind of tricking your body that you're chewing and you're eating. You don't want to waste enzymes, right? You want to keep those enzymes. So what happens when we're older? When people have tapped out their little enzyme bank account, now they're living on Ensure because they no longer have the enzyme capability of breaking their food down. So there it is.
That is incredible. And you gave us a tip, and this really helped me because as much as I want to be that perfect person that takes these right before my meal, I often go, crap, I forgot my BLD, but you gave us a window that it's okay to take. Will you share that?
Yeah. I mean, based on how our digestive tract works and when we're eating, you still have about a 15-minute window. If you forget, right before your meal is kind of ideal. The anti-aging research likes right before the meal. But yeah, if you forget, you can take it. And by the way, you can take this systemically. You can take it away from food and let it just go in and start cleaning up undigested debris that's just floating around. the bloodstream or, other places. So
Very cool.
it's
Very
okay to do that. And then
awesome.
one more last little tip on that.
Yeah.
Is anyone that has infants, anyone who's going from breastfeeding to formulas in a bottle, and you hear oftentimes those little ones, they can't handle that. They get colicky. They're crying and they're screaming. They can't digest that, right? So even though we don't advertise this for kids, right? I'm just letting you know, you can open a little capsule, put half in that bottle, shake the bottle, give it back to the baby, and baby stops crying.
Wow.
So it's a really, really neat product.
That's incredible. And I see you every time you speak why more and more people are falling in love with this. And the next product, I'm actually surprised because I saw the lineup of pills and potions that are on your cabinet or on your counter. And when you said BLD was number 1 and this one is a close number 2, I'm listening all ears because I want to learn everything I can about this next product called Recover, because this to me is a badass product, if I can say so. And I want to learn all I can about it. So let's touch on it.
Yeah, it's really kind of a magical capsule in a sense. We always say, when in doubt, take Recover. And a lot of the professional sports teams and athletes that we attracted, from all the way back in the day was because of this heavy proteolytic Recover enzyme. And so let me just start by saying some things I'm probably not supposed to carefully, but since we're all in just close company here, this is a product that people use. And by the way, I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to diagnose. There's my disclosure. Been doing this a long, long time. I would much rather use this than an ibuprofen, a Tylenol, an Advil because of inflammation, right? Bad inflammation, soreness, all of those types of things. So when you're using something natural or from, Mother Nature, this is what we're talking about. So what do I mean by that? I'm out, I just got back to the ranch right now. We've got 100 and some animals out here. I got some of the grandkids here. They're allergic to animals or cat hair or dander or whatever it is. Not with this, because most of your allergies, these pollens, they're protein based. So Recover is heavy proteolytic, meaning protein splitting enzymes. So poisons, a spider bite, a bee sting, out in Arizona, some of you are out there, a scorpion sting. Okay. So poisons, most of these poisons, their poisons are protein based. So post-surgery. So lots of doctors that will sell our Recover post-surgery. So basically, I like to think of it like this. I'm older, just turned 60, by the way, so I'm like really feeling older. The old Pac-Man game back in the day. It just kind of waka, just went around, right? It's scooping, gobbling things up. So when these enzymes kind of run into debris, they're cleaning that up. And so you're cleaning up the blood, you're cleaning up scar tissue. It basically eats it, if that makes sense. And so why not have clean blood? So just a real quick difference maker with these enzymes, plant enzymes, the BLD, the Recover, when you're taking it away from food, people go on what to make their blood move? Blood thinners. Okay, which is okay. So now they go on a medication and their blood is thick and sticky. And so now their blood starts to flow because doc prescribes something to thin their blood. That's okay. It's better than thick blood, right? But what enzymes do is they clean your blood. So that blood thinner, your blood thins out, but it's still dirty. Enzymes go in and clean your blood, and now your blood flows. Very, very different approach. So let's go to, right, we're going to the root of the issue. Why did it happen? Whatever reason, whatever. Let's fix that instead of just covering it up with some kind of thing, medication, what have you, that sometimes will cause other issues, as we all know. I'll kind of leave it at that. But yeah, this is an amazing product. I remember the first time I snowboarded, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago with a bunch of the kids. I thought, everyone said, man, Sean, you're not gonna walk the next day. You don't use those muscles. I was pounding this product throughout the day, all night, felt nothing the next day. I mean, that's the difference maker. We've worked with professional sports teams or athletes, I'll say specifically, that have livers, right, of an alcoholic. They don't drink alcohol, none. And their livers are destroyed from taking over-the-counter things that I mentioned earlier to deal with this soreness and this inflammation. So why? Because they just don't know. It's not like we do things to hurt ourselves purposely. When we're supplementing, right, we like to call our supplements complements. We're complementing what we eat or don't eat, or what the human body needs. So an amazing, amazing product. I will say, when you first start using Recover, try like 2 before bed, because you could feel a little queasy if your body wants to detox a little bit. That's a possibility. Not everyone, but some people. So I just like to set the expectation. But the least amount of food in your stomach at the time of using Recover, the better, because you want it to work on whatever you're trying to deal with. You know, so if you took an apple, there's not a lot of protein in an apple, that's okay. But if you ate a bunch of protein, it's going to go work on the protein in your gut first. Why? Because digestion takes precedence over everything else. So that's the biggest reason. And I'm going to go, let me just go one more step on this with these BLD and Recover. You know, we got a little picture of a gal here working out or whatever. What happens is this. When I said the reason why we got all these athletes and sports teams, and it could be anyone. It could be you just want to go up and down the stairs each day. You don't have to be a professional athlete, right? When you're injured, when you're sick, our body also has what are called metabolic enzymes. It allows you to, you know, my eyelashes, I'm moving, it runs our body. When we run out of metabolic enzymes, we pass. They are the life force of our body. But the body's really smart. And remember, digestion's first. So if an athlete, this is how we got our athletes, just so you know. If an athlete rolls his ankle and the doctor tells him, you're going to be back in, 5 to 6 weeks, whatever they say. And we come along and say, yeah, we'll have you back in 2 to 3 weeks. And here's why. Because when these athletes or anyone eat, your metabolic enzymes are there to heal your injuries and fight these health issues, disease, and things like that. So if I'm a professional athlete, my ankles hurt, I get up in the morning and I eat breakfast and it's cooked food. My metabolic enzymes stop healing my ankle and they come to my gut to help my digestive enzymes digest my meal. When it's all digested, they go back and start healing my ankle again. Well, now I want a protein shake. They stop healing my ankle and they come back to my gut to digest my protein shake that's dead. And then they go back and start healing the ankle. Oh, it's lunchtime. They stop healing my ankle and they come back to my gut. Are you getting the point? So when you have enough digestive enzymes, there's no need for them to stop working on healing you. That's why these two in conjunction are fantastic, but that's the whole premise, right? It's conserving your enzyme bank account.
That's wild, man. I mean, if people aren't on the site right now ordering these, if you don't have them, I don't know what you're doing. But with that, let's rock to this third one. And this one's really cool, the lion's mane. And I had heard of this kind of product. There's a lot of pills that you can take that are out there, but never had I seen it in such potent liquid form. So can you kind of touch on this product and why the formulation of it is so important?
Yeah, as I touch on, and I won't go into as much detail, but I want to talk about our philosophy on what we do as we go into the other couple things right after this. They go hand in hand. So I have a partner. I've been with him about, 14, 15 years working together. he created a way of extracting plants, mushrooms, roots without doing what the rest of the world does. Okay. He created this process before there were vapes, before there were e-cigs, and he kind of created it accidentally. Okay. And so here's the concept. The concept is we want to leave Mother Nature alone. We don't want to be like pharma. Pharma takes a single molecule of something, they amplify it, right? And they do some other synthetic things to it. And it has an effect where it helps people, but it creates other issues, as we all know. We believe Mother Nature already has it right. Us humans are the ones that jack it up because you can't patent nature, but you can patent chemicals. Okay, you can patent drugs. So this lion's mane is whole. It is the whole, you'll hear whole food, whole plant. Well, this whole lion's mane is what we extract. When people are working with lion's mane mushroom, and by the way, it's like the most sold mushroom out there, right? It's people want this. The industry, if anyone in here is into creating a little revenue while you're helping people, right? I think it was a beautiful thing. The mushroom space is ginormous. It dwarfs the hemp space. I mean, dwarfs it. There's no comparison. And I love the hemp space. Okay. But they discovered however many years ago now, and it hasn't been that long, that the brain can, it's basically, I like to oversimplify. It's kind of rebuilding itself in a sense, instead of just deteriorating. Again, giving the body what it needs, and let's see what it can do on its own. So this fluid is, we call it a fluid, an extract is extremely potent because we don't add carrier oils into it. We don't extract with chemicals. So this isn't judgment on anyone else. We just choose not to use propylene glycol or alcohol, or what do they use alcohol for in hospitals or wherever? It's to kill. We don't use that. We don't use ethanol. We don't use these things. We're not even critical CO2. That's kind of the cleanest of the dirtier extraction processes. We just leave nature alone, pull the entire thing, and it goes in a bottle. If that makes sense. And therefore, so we are the true microdosing products when it comes to these types of products. The reason why I like this, droppers, right? Like at Hempworx, we have dropper products. It's a different delivery system, right? Most people don't like, I take 80 or 90 capsules a day. I'm weird. Most people aren't going to do that, right? And so I like to take things in another way as well, so I don't have to take as many capsules. And that would be one, right? That lion's mane is going to be that dropper. We are water compatible. We were one of the first extraction companies out there to do so without losing the medicine. Most products that you see out there in this space, in any dropper space, hemp, mushrooms, that if they say water soluble, most of them are poo-poo. They don't have any medicine left, right? And so we're super proud that with lion's mane, it's like what we do in the hemp space. We don't add other things in that bottle, and it's whole. Remember, when it's whole, less is more. You need less. So you only need a few drops at a time. You're getting the whole thing instead of taking a bunch of drops or a dropper full. The reason why you do that is because it doesn't absorb well, because it has a carrier oil. So there's no comparison in the absorption with what we create in these droppers. It's an apples and oranges conversation. So that's the biggest thing. So I don't want to get caught too far up into everything that it does. Anyone can just jump on, and you can Google lion's mane. It does. There's so many amazing things that it will do for the brain, but it's the way we do it, and no one else does it. They can't. And that's because of the proprietary extraction process.
So cool, man. And Dr. Erin is on. She had a question about, is there any population of people that shouldn't be utilizing lion's mane, or is it, have at it,
Yeah.
y'all. 2 drops, you're feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, since we're really microdosing, we tell everyone, speaking of doctors, ask your doctor if you have questions, ask your doctor if you're on, medications, if you've got something, going on that's not kind of the mainstream thing. But we have not, I mean, we started with, in the beginning with just doctors, even with our hemp, Parkinson's. I'm doing right now, working with the NFL alumni. And there's a lot going on, as some of you might know, with the sport of football, and with the concussion syndrome, with the pre-Parkinson's, the Parkinson's, all these things that are, there's some ramifications to this game. And that's why they keep modifying the game. And it all kind of ties together, right? Because, the body's one. It's not, and we love our docs, but most of our docs these days, unless they're a, naturopaths or, functional doctor of medicine and these things, a lot of them are they're in their lane, and that's all they do. And so if they're a foot doctor, they're working on the foot, they're not talking to the other docs that are working on that same human that have other issues. Really putting those pieces together. If that oops. Definitely look and see if someone has issues. I think I got muted out there for a moment.
Hit the wrong mute button.
No,
that's good. No, that's awesome. And what's really cool is, and I love how you talk about this, because it is whole to part, right? We are a holistic view of the whole human, and these all play synchronistically together. And the next 2 that I kind of want to jump to, because you guys, this is a double night that you're in for a treat. So yes, Sean and Ty 100%, but we did not know this, that Sean and Ty created 2 incredible products that are now in our HempWorx line. And I didn't know this, but these are 2 of my before I knew this, 2 of my favorite products that I take every single day. And Sean starts talking to him. I'm like, oh, you know about the whole hemp? He goes, girl, we made it. So I am so excited to give people kind of a 365 view of this product, because these 2, because they're phenomenal.
Yeah, look, let's go. Can we go to the dropper first? Whoever's showing these, there we go. I want to do this first because the dropper is what's in that spray device. Okay, so this is not okay, we've been doing this a long time. This is not, we're better and then everyone else. It's not about that. Even when we educate on enzymes, we want to help people. We're not trying to sell you something. If we could recommend something that we didn't make, other brands at MDC, other brands that are not at MDC, we would love all the amazing things to be at MDC. Okay. But we are not in oil. If you've had anyone ever tell you that their CBD or hemp oil did not help them, then they don't understand why they should be taking it in the first place. So some of you on here probably know about the endocannabinoid system, ECS, and some of you may not. And this whole CBD thing goes back to 1984, whenever it was discovered in Israel, where we dropped the ball in the US because it was illegal to study this plant, right? I mean, forget about smoking it or using it or whatever. You go to prison if you studied the plant. So Israel picked up, they discovered CBD, awesome, but they also discovered the endocannabinoid system. So we all know we have an immune system, endocrine system, nervous system. And the endocannabinoid system is kind of the boss of these other systems in the human body. So why wouldn't you want to make the master communicating system in the human body happy? And that's what happens when you fill these receptors in the human body. This is all prevention. Everyone's looking to get into homeostasis. They do that by eating, meditating, supplementing. When these receptors are filled, the body starts to balance itself and go into that homeostasis. It is phenomenal. We were marketed to with CBD when it came out, and we thought we were supposed to all take it because of an issue. Anxiety, pain, sleep, a headache. That's true. It helps a gazillion things, but that's really not why we should all be taking this on a daily basis. It's to fill our receptors. Okay, so let's talk about this dropper you're looking at. Whole hemp plant extract. We take organic plant, we extract it, we pull it. Think of taking it one time. We take the whole plant, the whole flower, and we put it in a bottle. Okay? We don't use chemicals like I described with the lion's mane, and we do not add carrier oils, MCT oil, coconut oil, hemp seed oil. We add no oils. Why? Are our bodies oil? Or are we made up mostly of fluids and water? Yes. The body doesn't absorb very well oil. However, hemp and CBD oils still can work. So imagine if 4 to 8% absorption of an oil. What do you think is going to happen to your body if you get a 60 to 65% absorption of this hemp extract? It's night and day. There's no comparison. That's not a knock on oils. Those are fine. But here's the other thing. When I first started traveling, teaching the truth about CBD 10 years ago or whenever it was, I remember telling people, in the future, you're going to hear people start to market not only CBD, they're going to start to market CBDA, CBG, CBN. That's because they took them out. They isolated kind of the pharmaceutical way and just went with the popular acronym CBD. But there's all kinds of cannabinoids that we just mentioned. Okay. We never took them out in the first place because we're whole. They've always been there. Okay. Now, the plant works best when it's whole. It's nature. Yeah, you can make a product with more of this or more of that, but you want something whole, in our opinion, first. If you can get it done when it's whole, less is more. And by the way, 2 tiny little drops in that dropper is a dose. So that little tiny bottle of 100 drops, maybe a little more, gives you 50 doses. So take out your calculator and see how much you bought it for, divided by 50. That's your cost per dose, your cost per use, which is pretty cool to have such a low cost per use. Okay. In a plant that I'm describing, in these cannabis hemp plants, there are cannabinoids, flavonoids, and terpenes. Terpenes are the essence of that flower of that plant. Most people will add terpenes in from another source. Why do they do that? Because legally, marketing wise, you can advertise and promote a higher milligram count. It's marketing. Everyone missed the whole target on this. This is not about milligrams. It's completely false. This is not about milligrams because it's whole. When you have all the pieces to a puzzle, you need less. When CBD came out, it was 150 milligrams, and it was 250, 300, 400. It's like an auction. Do I hear 500, 1,000, 1,500 milligrams, a gazillion milligrams? It's the silliest thing ever. That's not how plant medicine works. Yeah, you can amplify something if you want, but there's no need. In those little drops, there's 50 milligrams of whole plant fluid, every little tiny drop. So if we wanted to play the marketing game, we could say 100 drops times 50. That'd be a big number, wouldn't it? But we're not trying to be marketers. We're trying to help the human body. We're trying to help people learn how to help themselves. That's what this is. So less is more, for sure. And you can't take terpenes from another source and put it in. That's like bringing a new player to the team, a new kid to the neighborhood and try to blend in. It doesn't work that way. I remember when anyone who watches basketball, when they brought LeBron James to the Lakers, they couldn't win a game because they all knew what to do. They all had their roles. They bring this outside person in who didn't play together. That plant grew up together. Everyone in that plant knows what to do. They all know their role. So you start bringing in these things from other sources. No, that's not true plant medicine. It'll still help people. Don't get me wrong. It can still help people. But once again, if that helps someone, imagine what this does. And if anyone's ever told you it didn't help them, I'm telling you again, they need to try this.
Yep.
And you can drop it in water if you want. You can drop it on topically. You can drop it on the dog's food, whatever. It's all the same. Go ahead. You're going to.
No, I love it. And I love this because the next one, because I want to keep us, there's teaser that I want to get us into as well. But the next one you were telling me with this, it's 100% absorption.
Yeah. So if you go to the
blown away by.
Yeah, if you go to the spray, and I think on the labels, we try to be a little conservative.
Yeah. It says
we try to say 90%.
Yeah.
No one's going to believe us. No one even believes 90. And that's coming from the labs. That's not us making it up. I didn't believe it when I first were getting these tests. You guys are familiar with the vitamin spray device, that technology. It's that same exact technology. So there's 240 metered sprays. Our doctors love this because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you even did a couple sprays, it just depends. If you did 2 sprays, that's 120 doses. If you did more, you just do the math. But it's up to 100%. The beauty is with that fluid, you don't hold it under your tongue, by the way, that dropper, it just dissipates. And it pretty much bypasses the digestive system. This bypasses the digestive system. So you're spraying, it's right to the brain right now. So anything to do with the head, I like using the spray. We've watched on a scanner in Southern California, concussions start to just dissipate with the spray. I mean, this is big stuff. When Canada had this product first, because you couldn't have CBD in the US, the 2 NHL teams there, you'd see the trainer slide out on his knees and he'd start taking this and they'd start spraying the player immediately. I think it's a great product to have in the house, especially with kids, hitting their heads, running around, or kids who play sports or whatever. That's just my opinion. I know I'm not supposed to promote children. I'm just being very real, right? And this little tight community here of things that we can do to help our body. But yeah, it's that all that's in that spray is it's unflavored. So that whole plant fluid or extract is in that spray with water. That's it.
It's so awesome. And you guys, we can take these at any time throughout the day too. This is what I love is it's always in my purse, Sean. And I don't know about anyone else, but if you have actual little tiny baby humans and you have different levels of threshold that you can deal with these tiny humans, get this spray and keep it on hand because you immediately you just balance out. It's undescribable, really. Indescribable.
It's really a safety thing, and I love it. I think it's convenient, all the sprays, because it fits in the pocket. So
yeah, awesome. Well, okay, we've got like a minute.
Okay, a minute, really quick.
And I really am excited about this because I don't know if you were allowed to, but you did share with us last week or a couple weeks ago, whenever we chatted, that we may have some new Sean and Ty products coming in the next couple of weeks to MDC Marketplace. So give us a brief without disclosing all what we have to look forward to.
We have one more supplement coming out and we have 2 more droppers. Okay. So the supplement is a brain product. I'll just kind of leave it at that. Okay. It's brain. We've done a lot with the brain in the past. We first used this with pitchers in the MLB. That's kind of was our thing that we were doing. So we're excited about that. We have 2 more droppers. A lot of people talk about nitric oxide. I'll just say the word beets. Okay. So all microdosed. And then that's a powerful product, blood flow, heart, all that stuff. And then there's another one that you may or may not know called, I'm going to just say it, the blue lotus flower, mostly found in teas and things like that. It's an ancient Egyptian water lily. It is unbelievable when you extract it this way. That's all I'll say. I don't know if it's legal in Louisiana yet. Okay. I always like things that aren't legal because there's something that's oh, wow, it's working. So they don't want us to use it for some reason. But let me just say this. It is said that flower is the only plant that, this is going to sound wacky, don't hold it against me, that tends to, they believe it raises our vibration. Okay. It has been an aphrodisiac forever for men and women. We have been testing this product for the last 9 months or so in our, method of extracting. The feedback we get from the bedroom, from a lot of females, from the dreaming aspect, I'll just leave it at that. I won't describe them how they told me. And it's unbelievable. You hear people talk about the pineal gland, however you want to talk about it, right? Up here in the middle of your brain, your third eye. Try this product and see what happens. I'll just leave it at that.
It's so cool. It's like we're getting the metaphysical and the scientifical are merging together, and they came from a flower called the blue lotus flower, which is awesome. Well, Sean, you are just truly like ray of light, solid guy. I've enjoyed so much getting to know you over the last month or so, and how you pour into our team and how you're willing to continue to pour into our team and everyone at MDC. We are so grateful, man. We appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you. I apologize if I went too long. I get excited, right?
Dude, this is I guarantee, and just for everyone to know, we will have this recording up, and I guarantee it will be the most sent out link that our team uses in the coming days and weeks. You're so awesome. Thank you so much.
Very, very welcome. If I can help in any way, just let me know. So
I love it. I love it, man.